The King's College equips students for success by inspiring critical thinking and exposing them to the opportunities of New York City. Classes are structured around great ideas of the past and the present, and students are encouraged to pursue their own ideas. They are also taught to become adaptable, driven, and creative problem solvers, often cultivating an entrepreneurial spirit. I talked with 3 alumni who used their education and their experiences in New York City as a springboard to transform ideas into flourishing organizations that benefit needs in their communities.
So I launched Hello, It's Eve, which is like the technical of it is that it's just an LLC. But in particular, what I do right now is that I am a tech consultant. I help small businesses and teams find the right software tools that help them accomplish their goals. And then I'm also an automator. So I take whatever tool or software that is, and I help them talk to each other. I help data get from one tool to another, and hopefully trigger successive processes so that like one individual person on a team can amplify the work that they do and get done in a short amount of time.
So Cause Roast, the name kind of speaks for the whole impact and do good thing. We operate as an e-commerce company and do lots of events as well as a pop-up vendor. We've done a coffee truck actually. We had a Volkswagen bus that was turned into a coffee truck, and that was a thrill. But the big piece behind what we do is we sell coffee as our product, but it's more of a means to the end of having an impact for those in need. And so we want to work in what I would call the development side of impact. And so that's kind of the side of things we look at is, okay, how can we work on long-term impact in the development world?
FEE empowers women to advocate for themselves through negotiation training. FEE it's the periodic symbol of iron. It stands for females equipped. And this idea of iron sharpening iron. Oftentimes we need other people to speak the value and truth that we bring because we don't see it into our lives. And so it's that community that builds something.
I did a post-grad fellowship, and my roommate actually was like a super coffee nerd at that point. I was like, dude, you're way out there. To me at that point, I was like, dude, it's just good coffee if it comes from one of these kind of places. So then I started getting more and more into it, and one thing led to another, and I was like, dude, I've always wanted to start a business that had a social element to it. After that, I was like, this is kind of what I want to do. I want to figure out how to marry business and this social element or this impact model. And so the more I started thinking about it, I was like, man, coffee is a great way to do that. It's like an untapped market where nobody's levering, the do good element with the enjoy a good cup of coffee. And so I said, well, let's try and leverage people's caffeine addiction for good.
So FEE is born out of this idea that we saw the female empowerment movement do so much, but it's come to the fact that there's signs and slogans, and we wanted skill sets and solutions. That's the next step.
I want to resource people to do what they do well and to help businesses to not just to survive, but to thrive in serving people in their communities. And I realized that I'm also very good at merging my understanding of like business processes and softwares and tools. And so ultimately last fall, I decided to work for myself and start my own business doing that full time. In working for Dawn Fotopoulos, she gave me a bit of personal advice once. And she told me once, she's like, Anoma, you are your own gatekeeper. And that advice was challenging and liberating at the same time. I am going to be the front line of what gets into me, like my life, my space, what makes demands of my time. And that I am actually empowered to close that gate. And now that really informs how I do business.
We worked with Matt Perman at the Careers Development Department and partnered with him to run a negotiation workshop for all King's women.
King's was a trampoline for me. It was, okay, there's all these awesome people around me, mentors, professors, and then just being in New York City, the opportunities were endless. I got to meet so many amazing people. There's a book by Seth Godin that I think an entrepreneur should read. It's called The Dip, When to Know When to Quit and When to Keep Going. And that's a hard thing to realize as an entrepreneur, is when is it time for me to just throw in the towel. But the other thing is failing fast and failing forward is a big plus and almost a must for any entrepreneur if you want to make it, and keep going.
The accomplishments of these alumni are testaments to the value of a King's education and the resources and connections that can be made in New York City. The King's College fosters an environment of resiliency, and these alumni use that spirit to build organizations that benefit and reach those around them. Reporting with ESTv, I am Neidin Shelnutt.